Heavenly Father, I just thank you for today and just for the excitement that I have felt with Brad coming on as our guest speaker. I thank you for all the people that have been able to join this Zoom just to glean from his wisdom and knowledge. I pray that you be with us, that you would give him the words we all need to hear. And just be with us now. Help us to just write so that we can inspire others to draw closer to you, or we can inspire others with our story of how you gave us victory. So, Lord, we just thank you and give you this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. So,
Amen.
let me introduce Brad. Brad is actually like a friend of ours now. Brenda and I both have been on Brad's podcast.
Yep.
And I will tell you, I have never met a person who does such a great interview.
Well, thank you.
He just knows the right questions to ask and how to draw things out of you that will interest people that are going to be listening to a podcast about you. So I am just honored to have Brad with us. He is the founder of the Author's Table podcast, as well as having published 4 of his own books: the Old Time Comedian Quiz Book, the Old Time Comedians of Yesteryear Quiz Book, A Moment in Time, and that's a book of poems.
That's correct.
A Moment in Time.
Yes.
And then Do You See What I Do? What I See? And it is a book of pictures of clouds.
Yeah.
My granddaughter got that book and she just absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. So it's a very interesting book. It's an exploration of the imagination.
That's right.
So Brad has been married for 20 years. He plays chess. He reads, watches classic movies. He's into music, art, and nature photography. I just learned just earlier that he also paints with oils.
Yeah.
And he's just a world traveler. Brad graduated from Purdue University in Information Systems and Information Technology
Yeah.
for computers. He also went to the American Art Chicago School and received his degree in advertising and graphics design, graphic design, and he has over 35 years in the creative arts industry. Brad has a lot of different topics he can talk on,
Yeah.
so we're going to let him talk, and then if you've got questions, or Brad, at your convenience, you can just ask them to
Sure.
raise their hand.
Sure.
I am going to ask everyone to mute their microphones. And Brad, if you would put your contact information, if you could type it in the chat. I don't know if you already did that. That way they will make sure to have it. I know you can show us at the end or during, whatever, so they can make sure to have your information.
Okay.
Because y'all, if you are published authors, you want to make sure you contact Brad and you can get on his podcast list. He is so desired by people that he tells me he's booked till February.
Yeah.
So, you gotta get on his list, okay?
That's right.
So, Brad, I give you the floor.
Well,
God bless you.
well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for having me this evening. It's honored, and I think this is the stuff that I will be talking to you about is, I think, is going to be very I think knowledgeable for the fact that you can use it, and I think we're going to talk about marketing, in which a lot of authors really don't know what to do once they get their books completed, but before we jump into that, let's talk about the author's table. The author's table has been going strong since 2 years now, and just like Julie said, though, I'm already booked up till February. Now it's March. So, and actually, when I was starting to write like my first book at the Old Time Comedian Quiz Book, I had no idea that I was ever going to have a podcast or where it was going to lead me, but it was just a passion that I had. And, growing up watching the old comedians, coming home from school and they're on TV and just loving the old comedians. And if you can see some things behind me. There's a lot of comical, things. But like on this wall, there's Charlie Chaplin, and up here is the Three Stooges, and Abbott and Costello. And this one on the wall in front of me is, if you know Abbott and Costello, Chris Costello, she's the daughter of Lou Costello. I worked with her, and she signed that for me, and but that was really awesome. But the doing the books and then finishing them. The last one was in 2020. So looking back at the books, it's like I've been doing them all along, and because the cloud book, I mean, we've always, I mean, I do that today. I look at the clouds and I say, wow, that looks like this, and I always wanted to know what kind of clouds they were, or what causes rain, or what causes snow, and the poem book, my wife and I did that one, and I've been writing poems since I was little, and some of those poems are actually in the book, and I look back at it, it's just like it was just my life story. It's like like a 360. You look at it, it's like, wow, I've been doing it all along. And so, as time went on a little bit, I thought, I never thought I would do a podcast, but it things happen, and it's like you don't plan it, but some things you plan, but the podcast I didn't plan, and it just like it happened, and I thought, I need to have a podcast to help other authors, and there's well, and you may have this experience too. It opened up so many doors in which you never thought were there, but they were there, and the podcast was just that. When I started it and I did all the research, and you're trying to find a way to where it may not cost any money, or it may not cost too much, or take too much time, but so I did all the planning, and I wanted to do something to where everybody had an opportunity to talk about your books, and just your journey, and to help spread the word about who you are, the books you've written, and possibly the places you'll go. I mean, I learned a lot too by with Brenda and Julie and so many of other authors around the world that I've spoken to, that has opened so many doors, and I get them all the time about them saying thank you, you've done this for me, and it's a very rewarding feeling, to do something out of the blue, and actually have it for everyone to enjoy, and learn from, network with, and like all the graphics. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see the shirt here. That's the logo, and I do it. I did everything. My books, I did them all the graphics, all that myself. So well, because I have the background, so that was a big plus. That I was able to do it all myself, and but so the author's table is but I encourage you to sign up, because the people that want to be on the author's table or any podcast, sometimes you have to wait, and sometimes it's sooner, but I can put you on a waiting list as well. If there's a cancellation, I can get you in, so that's a help too. But yeah, I mean, there are things that I have planned too myself, not my podcast, but to be on other people's, that it's way down the road, but it's worth it. You sometimes you have to do that to get ahead. I've told other authors, sometimes you have to step back to go forward, and it's well worth that. But the podcast, I love it. It's awesome, and I'm getting great feedback with it. and so and I'm planning on to continue it. So, and I'm also I'm always doing stuff. So it's with graphics or the podcast. So I may even have someone else with me as well to help to do more podcasts. But so with that being said, let's talk about our books. Now, let's talk about marketing. Who knows about marketing? Can anyone say what their thoughts are on marketing?
Come on, Jackie.
Because marketing's
Marketing is a tough thing, I'll
yeah,
tell you.
yes,
I hate it.
yeah,
Right,
it,
it's really hard.
It's challenging. It's not what we like to do as writers.
yeah,
We want to write, and I'm much better at telling other people they have to market than I am at marketing myself. So
yes,
I mean, in marketing is just looking for ways to get the word out about your book
that's right.
and getting it in front of people. And again, that's just not what writers want to do.
You think about too. We have a brand, and that's us. And it's like a business. If you can't market something if you don't have something. So and the biggest thing too, we put all the time and energy in our own books. And we want to do the best we can with the book so people can purchase it. And so the branding is you. And the more that you put out there, the more chances of people seeing your book. Um, and that's another thing too. I mean, the sky's the limit. Once you have that book in hand, or even if it's on Kindle or any of that, once you have that finished product, then now the rest is up to you. And so let's say, for example, I've talked to so many different authors about what about merchandising. You write a book that has special characters, maybe like a children's book, and they have a character in that book that children can relate to. So why not make maybe shirts or a little pillow with the character's face on it? I mean it's really endless. And when you're out there promoting yourself, you're behind it 100%. You know, but like when, for example, you go to a book signing event, you're there to sell your books. But how are you going to tell people that you're here and purchase my book? What makes your book any different than anybody else's? You can just sit there and say nothing and just have your book there hoping that you keep your fingers crossed that they're going to sell like crazy, right? But most of the time that's not going to happen. We hope so, but and I think that's like one of the biggest challenges that writers have. Or they'll hire someone else to do it for them. And that can get pretty pricey too. You know. So and another thing too, word of mouth. How do you do that? You just go door to door to all your neighbors, or you go to do all the different businesses, and say I'm an author. This is my book. And one of the things too that I've been successful with too is just going to like the libraries, even just donating your book. We're all tied into, well, I want to sell my book. Well, yes, we do, but you have to think about the long term of that. Now, let's say, for example, you go to like the library, you donate your books, and because people come and go out of the library all the time, and they see your books and they think, wow, this is interesting. How can I get a hold of the author, or how do I can I purchase it? And that's how things happen. For example, I've donated I mean, my books to the Comedy Museum, Smithsonian has them, the Library of Congress has them, Channel 9 has it out of Orlando, because my weather book. And Tom Terry responded to that one. They love it, and it's not. Yeah, we want to sell them, but you have to think about the big picture of where that can take us to, So you want to try to cover all your bases, and it's still a win-win because it's still you and your book is out there. Now another thing too, well, obviously social media is a huge thing, just to advertise your books, and try to hit every platform you can, and it can get sometimes overwhelming, because it's a lot of work, even if you're trying to do like little ads, because I do ads all the time with my books and the podcasts and everything, but I can do that. Not everybody can do that. And another thing too is radio. Believe it or not, radio is huge. You can go to a local radio station, and sometimes they have it to where it's $5 a day for an advertisement. And so you figure $100 a month, that's a lot of book time, for people listening. And I did that a few times here in Lake County. And they're open arms to that kind of stuff. And yeah, you can go to the bigger radio stations. You can do that, but find out what the cost is going to be too, because that can get a little pricey just for a self-publisher. And TV is huge. The thing with the TV you can get with your local station, sometimes they can do like a little spot on you, but it's sometimes it's connected with the newspaper. They have like a thing too on and I can't remember what the station is though, but it's like for local events going on and stuff. So if you can somehow get into that, where they can do a little piece on you, just like a little shot of your book, how to contact you. I mean, there's sky's the limit on that stuff. You just have to sort of find out what the cost will be, and sometimes nothing. It's just that you got to somehow get into the right angle in there. Like retail, and some of you I think have done like Barnes and Noble, bookstores, and if you're not, sometimes though, if you're not affiliated like with the bookstore, sometimes they won't allow book signing events, but some will, and but those are huge too. Even if you like you provide them like 10 books, and they'll see how it goes, and maybe they'll sell some, they'll get a percentage of a book, I mean, that's a win-win too. Even if you take a cut from your purchase price, that's okay, because your book is out there and it's being sold, and people are being aware of who you are in your book. And that's really the whole key, is finding out, well, who you are and what you write about, and if you can get out there and people are seeing who you are, and that's one big thing about the podcast, because people would like to know who the author is. They get the book and they read it and stuff, they like it, but they don't know who you are. And I think that's a real big plus. Another big thing too is schools. Elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, colleges. Even if you can donate your books to them, that's huge. And I actually just did that with my high school. I sent my books to them, and we did a podcast, and and it's actually on my YouTube channel. You can see me talking to some of the students, and that was fun. And October, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to Purdue, doing the same kind of thing, though. But I'm going to be there. So with marketing, that's I think that's probably the biggest thing to help boost sales is the marketing part. Because you figure you put all the time in your book and all the blood, sweat, and tears. It's a lot of work. And it may cost you some money to produce that book. And so you want to stand behind your book and get out there and really push it. And sometimes events, you can maybe have 2 events a year, and you're hoping that you get the cost back of what you spent on the table, so it's a challenge. So now, does anyone have any questions on the marketing before we move forward? Is everybody okay? Oh,
I put a comment in the chat. Fit Bookstore, when you were talking about bookstores.
yes.
Bookstore here locally will let authors go in and do a book signing, and they don't even take commission if you sell your books.
Nice.
Or they will sell it for you and take a commission.
Yes.
You just got to go to their website and sign up.
Yeah, it's so nice though when you can do that, especially like your local bookstores, because you're there and people can see you and you can sign their books, and it's fun. It's this whole process has to be fun. It can't be work. Because you have to enjoy what you're doing, mingle with the guests, and be proud of what you did, because this is a product you're selling. You figure you go to a store, and if the company is not proud of what they did, you'll know. Then you won't buy it. And so that's what branding is too. People relate to you and your book. If they don't like you, they're not going to buy your book. And if you have a chip on your shoulder, if you're not smiling, you're not engaged with the audience, they're not going to come to you and want to buy your book. Word of mouth, I think we all know it can spread fast, and it's a big thing. So let's get into self-publishing versus having a publisher. Now, I'm a self-publisher, and I wanted to go that route. Yeah, it was cheaper for me and easier for me, and plus, all the money that I sell is mine, not a publisher. You can have a publisher and not sell anything, and you can be a self-publisher and you'd be selling like hotcakes. So, and you're spending a lot of money sometimes on a publisher. Even though, and the biggest thing too, if you're going to go the route of having a publisher, make sure you understand that contract 100%. Because there could be a lot of jargon in there you're not familiar with. Make sure that whatever percentage, if they're going to take any on the book sales or anything, that you understand completely, and that you have the contract yourself too. And how long is the contract? So it's those. I think the self-publisher for me was the way to go. So is everyone a self-publisher, or who's a self-publisher? Okay.
I have a question.
Sure, Brenda.
When you say self-publisher, so I went through a local company that produced the book for me. I'm still considered self-published,
Do they?
but we'll get a chunk of the sales
Oh.
if it sells through the like Amazon, because they put it out on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, any place like that.
So they get a percentage.
They get a percentage. So when you say you self-published, is that what you did? Or
Yes.
did you produce the book yourself?
Everything I did myself. selling the book.
Everything you sell.
Yeah, everything.
Printed it and everything.
Well, not because they do have. I went through a book printer that strictly is they print books.
So you did all of the formatting, all of the editing, all the formatting, the book cover, got your ISBN, did all of that,
It's
and then sent the product to them,
That's correct.
produced a hard copy.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that's
So
correct.
I've been hearing people lately refer to that as entrepreneurial publishing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because it's all what I'm doing, and it's not with a third party or actually a publisher that's out there selling my book, right?
And
Yeah.
you could, like you, for example, you could hire a cover designer, but you go and find that person. Some entity is not getting that all together for you.
Right, because well, with my background as a graphic designer and stuff, I did it myself because I was able
So you
to.
don't need a cover designer.
That's right, and that's
I've been
yeah. I'm sorry.
hearing lately people refer to that as entrepreneurial publishing.
Yeah, it I guess it can be. I guess I'm still I still can compare it to the having a publisher because they're doing it for you, compared to self-publishing where I'm doing it myself.
I've heard of
But there's
partnership publishing.
okay.
Yes,
Basically,
yes,
you pay the publisher to do the work, and it comes out under the publisher's imprint.
that's correct. Yes, and that's another thing too. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the ISBNs as well. So that's another tricky issue. It can be. Um,
Brad, for example, what's the publisher listed on your books?
actually, it's the bookpatch.com, but I do not use them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm actually with Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're just direct printing from Amazon.
that's correct. Yes.
Got it.
Yep. Yep. And there's nothing wrong with having a publisher do it for you, and that's something that is your choice, and there's nothing wrong with it. And sometimes it works better for people to have a publisher because they don't know how to do the rest of it, because that's a big part of it, you know. So, but yeah, my route is self-published where I just did it myself. Same thing with the ISBN number. That's mine. I don't have to worry about going, or if I want to, wherever I go, it goes with me. And sometimes, the ISBN number, the publisher owns it, or another entity owns it, where you cannot take that ISBN number with you, because because since the publisher owns the book, so to speak, they own the ISBN as well. So, and that's where the contracts, you have to understand 100% what that is. If you go with them, make sure that ISBN number is yours. And if I decide to part from you and go somewhere else, that comes with me. So make sure that is in writing and in that contract that it's yours.
I have a question that's in the chat.
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
how does that differ from the publishing that Barnes and Noble offer? Do you know?
I know. Well, when you go through Barnes and Noble, you go through that process, and I believe you have to find out though. I don't know for a fact though, but they may own that ISBN number. I
Yeah, see, I have a publisher that they don't own the ISBN.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I know that for sure, but you're right. You do have to check the fine print.
Yes, because you can produce your book and then go to a publisher, and then if especially if they don't say everything to you, or if it's not in black and white and you don't understand it. Let's say 3 years down the road you wanted to go somewhere else. And I actually had that just with another author, where she had to get a brand new ISBN number because of the publisher they went out of business. And so there was a whole nother issue with that. So things were on hold for a while until she was able to get everything back in order, and then so it can get ugly too. And that, I think that's one of the things that's overlooked is that ISBN number. You purchase it, and then you think, well, then it's mine, but then it's not. So that's one thing that's, I think, a little critical. But also, if you're not going to have your book in a retail setting, you won't need an ISBN number. If it's, let's say, for example, if you're just going to have it for, your book signing events and everything like that, you won't need an ISBN number. ISBN numbers are first like scanning for retail settings. So like if you're going to have it like in bookstores and, Target, retail stores where they have to scan it and it's in their database, well then, yeah, you will need one. But for your own, if you're just writing a book and you just want to do it all yourself and you don't want to put it in a retail setting or nothing like that, then you won't need it. So that's something to think about too if you're planning on doing a book down the road, But it's nice to have.
I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah.
you need to have it, but I guess you don't. Only
No.
for retail, for scanning.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
If you can, like, I'm not sure if everyone also is Balker ISBN database. Make sure also when you go on their website, your books are on there and they're correct with the ISBN numbers.
What was that, Balker?
Balker, they're the data. They're like the database that holds all ISBN numbers.
How do you spell that?
It's I think BOWKER, I believe. So that's where they hold all ISBNs. And also make sure that your image is with your ISBN numbers. Because if you go to the Balker website, you can type in your name and your books should come up and there should be your image of each book, well, along with the ISBN numbers.
Is it BOWKER.com?
No, it's not. It's not .com. I will provide that. I don't have it in front of me. But that's like the database of all ISBNs. Yeah. Now let's go into a book cover design. So how important do you feel book covers are? Do you think they're very important?
Very important.
And how come, Julie?
Because that's kind of like the hook that gets people to read your book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the hook that gets them to even pick up your book.
Yes. Now, do you think it has anything to do with color or fonts?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Images?
And even images or just text.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think book covers is what entices people to say, wow, look at that. Especially if you're standing on the other side of the room and you're just like glancing and something pops, especially if it's a bright color, or just something that's really catching their eye. Yeah, they're going to go to that book. And depending on the subject matter too. I mean, it's if someone's not looking for that certain subject matter, well, that's one thing though. But yeah, book cover design is huge. Even the back cover. You can do like in the newspaper industry, you get a 2-page spread. You open up your book and you see the spine and the back cover and the front cover. It's if you ever done that, but you just look at it. I have, well, mine just bleed front and back, and they do have the spines too though. But it's pretty neat when you look at it. Is it all the same or are they completely different? You know, um, and I think the what about the size? Is that important?
I would think so. I would think because the smaller the size, the smaller the print. But it also depends upon how many pages you have. So yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's right. You know like I'm going to be working on my photography, and I'm going to be doing a table size book, so it's going to be like a 16 by 16, roughly. It's still in the works, but I'm playing around with it. Um, but yeah, I wanted to do a hardcover for a tabletop book, and so that has to really stand out. And I don't know if you ever heard of thumbnail sketches. Where you can just do like a scribble. When I work with clients too, a lot of them sometimes give me scribbles, and I'm supposed to know what that is. But it's fun though. It's fun, and but in their mind they know. But then I do comps and I build it from that. But yeah, book cover design is a big thing, and it depends on the subject matter and how many pages and all that. And it's like a puzzle. You're putting all these pieces together, and it's really got to catch their attention. You know, because it's not just also in your mind. Because sometimes in your mind it's going to be totally different than it is when you're holding it. You know, and so, but keep in mind, anytime that you're doing, if you're going to start a new book, think about all that too, because it's very critical. And now let's talk about networking. How important is networking? Is it important?
Very important.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you don't network, what's going to happen?
Well, like you said, it's word of mouth, and people will look at your book because they like you.
Yes, right.
If you're open and friendly and sharing your message that God gave you,
Yes.
they'll take a look at it. I even thought I'm going to get me a real simple business card that when I'm anywhere, you just set it on the table, set it in a store, just leave it out because you never know who God's going to have pick it up.
I think about all the times that I've done that, and went through cards before my events even came. So I have to order new. I have them with me all the time. And the reason being is no matter where you go, you can go into a restaurant and leave it right at the cashier. I mean, you think about little things like that. That it's like, why would this person just drop his card right here? Because I'm trying to network. You know, I'm leaving my card out there, or even when you go to the grocery store, sometimes they have bulletin boards, and you post your business cards there, or even in banks, do the same thing. I mean, we have to, as authors, we're a walking business, and to get out there and to, I mean, you have to saturate everything. You have to go out there and just do it. You know, go to a car dealership. I mean, you'll see business cards there. Leave your card. I mean, it's no matter where you go, take them with you and just leave them. If you can post them, fine. If not, just leave it. And most of the time, that person's going to pick it up and look at it. Does that mean they're going to buy a book or contact you? Not really. I mean, who knows? Maybe. And maybe it's not them. Maybe it's someone they have a birthday coming up, and they say, they'll like this, so they'll look you up and find out more about you, and then the book, and then it goes from there. You know, and it's the simple things though. It doesn't take really a lot of effort to do. If you think about it, and part of word of mouth is also the book events. And I think we've all been to the book events where, we set up our. And speaking of that, when you set up a book or your own table, if someone would like to say, like, what do they use to entice people to come to your booth? What do you use? Tina, what do you use? You're quiet.
I actually haven't had
Okay, all right.
I do have jewelry that I put out.
There you go.
The displays that I put on my table, I don't normally use just the standard display pieces.
Sure. Yeah.
Try to think out of the box, and like especially like at Christmas time, I would put things out with like reindeer, and I'd put things down
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
horns, or I would use like business card holders to put bracelets and earring sets in.
Nice.
So think out of the box.
That's right.
When you're putting out your books, use some easels, or use something else that would give a little bit of dimension to the table.
That's right.
Different layers, and not straight lines.
That's right. Yes.
Will draw people in and give interest to the table.
That's right.
If you've got any giveaways, place those strategically to make some sort of a design
Yes.
to create interest.
Yeah. Excellent. Very good, Tina. Excellent. How about you, Barb? Yes.
Alice has her hand raised.
Oh, yes. Alice.
Alice?
So I have published, well, I had published with a traditional publisher, but I published an annotated Agatha Christie murder mystery.
Hmm.
So when I go do book sellings, I've gone to Amazon. It's a mystery. You're looking for clues. What do you think about magnifying glass?
There you go.
So I bought the tiny little magnifying glasses, and you get a bunch of them for cheap, like 50 cents each. And I put those out on the table, and that always draws people's eyes.
That's right.
You know, not to put anybody, rain on anybody's parade, but a lot of times authors will want to do bookmarks or pens, but that doesn't really catch somebody's eye.
Excellent. Yes.
Whereas the adults go crazy over it, because even, yeah, it's a trinket for me, but they can actually use that.
That's right. Absolutely.
And if you have people with kids, the kids
Oh, they'll love that. Yeah.
drag the parents. Look, and they're going to drag the parent over to go look at it.
Excellent.
So
Yeah.
if you buy a book, you can have a free. I was telling you can have a bookmark. You can solve your own mystery, or
Yeah. Excellent, Alice. Excellent. Very good.
I try to tie it in with the book fee.
That's right. That's right. That's key right there. You're tying it in. That's right. Yes, Jackie.
Jackie?
A friend of mine taught me this years ago. When you're setting up your table display, if you're doing that kind of thing, if you watch for retail stores that are either going out of business or remodeling, you can pick up their display
That's right.
really, really cheap.
Yes.
You just have to haul it out.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And I did that actually a few years ago when Sears was going out of business. And they did just that. They had all their jewelry displays, mannequins, all that stuff. I mean, it was like $5. They were like giving it away.
It was one of the department stores in the Oviedo Mall.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Some big acrylic stuff. Didn't get quite as good a stuff as the girlfriend who taught me this got when she got her stuff from a different
Yes.
department store that went out of business. But yeah, but it is, pay attention, and when you see these sales, go in and
That's
buy
right.
stuff, even if you don't need it right away.
Absolutely right. And you may want to write this down too. It's I think they're out of Orlando. They're called Bar Display. BARR display.com. And they have everything from mannequins, fixtures, you name it, and it's not real expensive. I mean, it costs you a little bit, but it's not like out of this world. And they have everything there. And that's where I get a lot of my stuff too. They used to be open on the weekend, but they're not anymore. So now you have to go during the week. Tina knows. Yeah, so but they're a good place. And actually I was going to show you, for branding. I know you can see behind me you can't really see it, but on the back wall I have a video that's just on a loop. It's one of the older videos that I've had, and it's different videos that I created over the years, and a lot of the comedian books and stuff. And sometimes I bring that stuff to the book signing events too. And depending on your space and what you're allowed to bring, I actually have a huge setup with speakers and TVs and all that too, but not everything will allow that. So you have to sort of go accordingly. But and on the right here, it's a new product line that's called Smile, and it's Smile meaning smile, and it's on this, and it's a magnet. The other one is a keychain, and the other one that's not here yet, and it's coming. It's a pin. And when I just had my 2 comedian quiz books, I wore this, and people related this hat to my stuff, and because it's the man in the red hat. And and I always loved this hat. It's a good old red derby hat. And it has the flower on there. And actually, this hat is there's a lot of things coming down the road with this hat. But I can't say anything yet. But it's a little tidbit out there. But yeah,
Sorry.
yes, that's okay.
Jackie has another question.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Where's Jackie?
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Okay.
I just wanted to. Several years ago, we did the Word Weavers chapter did that craft show in Longwood, and Julie brought the coolest thing. It was a spinning wheel, and we all donated stuff to be prizes for the spinning wheel.
Nice.
I mean, and there were, happened to have a ton of bookmarks, not for my books, but, but we included, a lot of the bookmarks on the wheel and a lot of our own books and whatever we wanted to give away, but it was motion, it got people's attention and people liked the
That's right.
chants.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing events like that, it's, see if you can borrow Julie's wheel. Actually, I thought it was so cool, so I have one too.
That's awesome.
But think about what you can do that's going to make people stop,
That's right.
as opposed to just having your books spread out on the table.
That's right. Now, how important do you feel that the author should engage the audience? Do you feel that's important? I think it's critical. Yeah, I agree. You can have all the swag out there and everything, but if you're just sitting there, you know, people will come to your table, but the chances of them really wanting to buy your book are probably going to be slim. They want to really interact with you. You're the one that's supposed to engage them and then encourage them and talk to them about your book and really be proud about it. You spend all this time writing your book. Get out there and talk to people. That's really what it's about. It's because when people notice that you're friendly, you're really excited about your product, they're going to buy it. I guarantee it, they're going to buy it. And the thing too, let's say you just finished your book, and now, you got it. You just finished it. You're excited. You're holding it. Okay, now I'm gonna go get it printed, get my books, and do everything, and then what do you think? How important is it from that point to the customer? Is that middle part important at all? Yeah.
One thing that I've learned even with, as I said, when I'm doing the jewelry and all that,
Yes.
we're all Christians here.
Yes.
We are here to minister.
Yes.
Also.
Absolutely.
And just talking to people, there have been several times just when people came up to my table and we'd be talking, I said, would would you mind if I prayed for you?
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Everybody's got something in their life
That's right.
going on, and that somebody's taking an interest in them.
The power of prayer.
Yeah, and
That's right.
that helps them to connect to you too. And even if you don't sell a book, you've planted a seed.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I think part of even when you're just donating the book, you're planting the seed. Because you never know who is going to actually pick up that book and look at it. I mean, yes, our intent is to sell, but you have to look at the big picture. The more you have your book exposed, the better you'll be. You know, um, and there's it's really the sky's the limit of what we can do. We're if you just want to write a book and do nothing with it, and that's fine too. Maybe that's just like a thing that you've always wanted to do. Just write a book and get it printed and just hold on to it. And that is perfectly fine too. I mean, there's no, you can't tell someone that they're doing it wrong or, you have to encourage. You don't degrade and you don't criticize. You don't, like I was telling Julie, misery loves company, and we don't want misery. We want happiness, and we want everybody else to be happy too. So that's where, when people come to our booth, they want to see us smile. They want us to they want us to see us joyful and really engaging them. And it's just like when we go to a store. I mean, we don't want to sit there and have someone jump on our back or nothing, but we like that customer service. It's just human nature. When someone's smiling, they're happy. Yeah, that's we want we want to engage them. So, but now, you know, I- you know, let's talk some more about swag on our tables. Can you have too much of it? Some say yes. Okay, and
It can be so cluttered that people won't stop.
yes,
Nothing will grab their attention.
yeah. It's like going to a shoe store, right? You look at a million shoes. It's like what do I? It's like which one do I choose? you know.
You can always find shoes.
Yeah. Well, I agree there, but I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, you can have way too much stuff. That can overwhelm your books, and it's like they're not going to be interested and they'll just walk off. So that's where I think Tina said too, it's placement. If you can have a nice dimensional and have signs too, don't block yourself. You want people to see you, but yet you want a nice variety of things. you know, and depending on also the size table you have. Sometimes you may go to a bookstore and just have a 4-foot table, or just something just to show your books, and that's fine too. But yeah, some of the events that I've been to, we've had some pretty big things though. But it wasn't just my books too; it was other things though. But and Tina, you brought this up too with jewelry. My wife does that. She makes custom bookmarks, and believe it or not, and I think Julie, you've seen it, where
That's what drew me to your table.
yeah, I mean that stuff flies. I mean it goes hand in hand because I'm selling books too, and then with the custom made bookmarks, I mean it's a great gift. I mean it's a great idea. And so yeah, you have to think about things like that too, because I change my tables often. Even when I'm there, I may change some of it because I may set it up, walk around, come back and look at my table and say, This is not right. So you have to tweak things here and there. But yeah, I think over time too. I mean, every event is different, and you learn from it, and you learn from others too. And I think too, and one big positive thing that you should always be aware of is, don't go to someone's table and criticize theirs. And or say, well, mine's better, or yours is not good. Can I do this? Or even if a customer's coming to their table, don't take that thunder away from them. That's your cue to back off. You can talk to them when it's slow or something. So that's just a little tidbit too. I mean, not that we do that. It was just I've seen it, and it's just common courtesy. We're there to have fun. Sell our books, but we're there to help each other too. So
Brad, there's a couple comments in the chat.
yeah, sure, yeah,
One is regarding displays.
yes,
Sam Ash is going out of business here in Orlando. So if anyone's looking for some display stuff, you may want to check out Sam Ash.
ah,
And the question is asked, do you have a list of shows that you could recommend?
shows
Book shows, yeah, like events.
in the state of Florida.
Probably for this crowd. I don't know. There's probably others. I don't know. Or
Yeah,
whatever. Is there any big ones that you find they're really great? They're good to be at?
yeah, I can send that to you. I'll send that to you,
Okay.
and then if you,
Great.
yes,
I appreciate that.
of course.
We're at 8:32, so I
Oh,
don't know if you want to.
the night's still young, Julie.
Okay. If anybody needs to go, you can leave.
I
You will get the link for the recording of this. So
yes.
I just wanted to let you know. I don't care. You can go on. I'm free.
Yeah. No, I don't have too much more to go. And I think the last one we can talk about is copyright law. And I think that's one of the biggest ones we have to be careful with. When I did my old time comedian quiz books, um, well, the thing with those, I learned so much, and um, I didn't have any issues. It's just that the subject matter that I worked with, I had to. Because and I can tell you who's on the very first comedian quiz book. That started off with W.C. Fields, Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton, Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, the Three Stooges, and the Marx Brothers was on the first one, and that was actually in the making for quite some time. It was one of those things where, growing up watching them and stuff, and I've always loved them, but when I was getting to the point where, because I took a night class of self-publishing many years ago, and it's much different now. And my instructor asked me, "What do you want to write about?" And I knew exactly what I wanted to write about. I knew the title, and getting the information at that time was a little tricky, a little difficult, and trying to get the information, it was difficult too, and I really didn't know how to approach that and so on. But as time went on, I always had everything in a folder, that I can go back to, and I remember like the last 3 years or so, I kept saying, "This year I'll do it. This year I'll do it," and I didn't. And then I guess it was that third year in November, I did it. I started it. So I got that folder out, but it was always in the back of my mind though. But this time it was like, okay, it's time. So when I got it out, I started planning, started to put it together and do things, and not 100% sure yet, but at that time the internet was much easier to reach out to certain groups and that. So the first one I reached out was wcfields.com. And so I had my layout and what I wanted to write about and how I wanted to do it. And so I broke it down and I sent it to them. I'm sorry? Mary? Oh,
It was great
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So 3 days later, I got a phone call, and it was Harriet Fields. She was the granddaughter of W.C. Fields, and talk about being blown away, and speechless, and that's hard to do, believe it or not. and so it, um, and so yeah, I explained everything to her, and she was excited. She was all for it, and it was that same process for each one, and and meeting them, talking to them. I mean, they were all on board, and the biggest thing was that they were so excited of the fact that trying to keep the dream alive for their family members, and 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 talking with Bill Marks. He is the son of Harpo Marks. Suzanne Lloyd, she's the granddaughter of Harold Lloyd. And talking with the different organizations like the Three Stooges, and I mean, even with the second book was the same process. And so the copyright law, I mean, you can imagine how that can go if you don't do it right, you know. And so I encourage you and everyone to, whatever you write about, it could be a picture, I mean, audio, you name it, you make sure you follow the protocol, because it'll definitely pay off in the long run. Because it will definitely cost you a lot more headache later on if you don't. So you have to be careful on where you're getting your information from too. You know, so and well, and we all know about plagiarism. Same thing. You got to be very careful with, if it's original, perfect. You're in better shape. But if you're taking things from different resources and you figure, well, they're never going to find out. Well, yes, they will. So, but my process was, I mean, it was awesome, and that was and that's how I wanted to do it. If either going to the organization or going directly to the family member and approving them. I mean, that was everything. Because if they didn't, I wouldn't have done it. There would have been no book. It would have been simple as that. Or you can purchase licensing. So I mean, that's another win-win too. So I mean, that you can do that too. I mean, that's any of those options are the way to do it. But make sure you do your research and your homework, and everything will be good.
When I was writing my book, Brenda, I'll let you go in a minute. Lyrics to a song.
Absolutely, yeah.
I had put some in, and my editor said, no, you can't use them because that's copyright. So unless you go through the whole
That's right. That's
I
right.
took them out. But
Yeah.
you just got to know the laws.
Yeah, and the same thing too, like in my books too, quotes. It's that same thing, you know. And the thing too, you can look at public domain, but make sure it's public domain, not just public, saying public domain. Make sure it literally is public domain and it's free to use.
And that means it's, what, older than 75 years?
1929,
1929?
yes, and I believe it's 1929 is anything. And also be very careful too, because if someone repurchased the copyright, it can be then it extended even more so. So you have to be careful on that too. For example, like the Mickey Mouse situation. You got to be very careful. You think, okay, Mickey Mouse is in a public domain, but no. I mean, yes and no. You got to be super careful. Because obviously, the legal team, will be waiting if you don't. You got to be very careful. Just be very smart. Just be smart. So, but I think we covered a lot of stuff, and I sure hope I provided you with a lot of information and some good information, and I'm very pleased, and I'm very excited, and I thank you so much for having me this evening.
Oh, thank you for coming. I do have one question.
Of course, Julie.
Quotes,
Yes.
because I know Marion
Yes.
And so, can a quote be quoted as long as you quote who said it? Do you know?
Is
Right?
yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to sort of still be careful of the person that quoted the if you're taking a quote from a quote that someone else used already, you have to make sure that it's okay for them to even use it to begin with. Just because if it's in their book, that doesn't mean it's okay for you to use it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's where you have to really do your research. I much rather put the time in the research, and then when the time comes, you're good to go. You know, I much rather have them say you can't use it than used it because it was easy or quick to do because I want to get my book done. No, just take the time. It'll pay off pay off in dividends later on for you if you do it right. Just be smart.
So you had something you were going to ask. Do you remember?
Yeah, just a quick question, because you mentioned that you made phone calls to the people to the family members and stuff, and did you also send them like a release form or a waiver form that they had to fill out?
Yeah, they even got the books themselves. Yeah, they even received the books themselves too. That once it was done.
Okay.
Yeah, everything.
Had them sign a waiver saying you give me permission to do this.
Yeah, everything was all. Yeah, even legal stuff too was all done. Yeah, there was. Yeah. So I'm good. I can smile and I can sleep at night. So yeah,
And that's the whole point.
that's right.
Gets the glory.
You know too, Julie. The biggest thing too. You know, with all the work and research and stuff of putting those books together is the fact that they approved it. And the fact that they enjoyed it, they loved it, and they were behind it 100%. I think that was the biggest reward of even just selling the book. Just the fact of that, saying thank you, and in turn, just the fact that I met new friends, well-known friends, but I mean I met new friends, you know, and I even got their books and they signed them, and I mean it was just so cool that, and I think maybe you've experienced it too, that you have your books out there and you meeting new people, and that opens up so many doors too for other things. You're not planning on things, but doors open. And it's just a wonderful feeling that, back then when I was starting the books and to where I am today, I would have never thought this. But and I've said it before. God works in mysterious ways, and doors open, and when doors open, that's an opportunity. We always think, oh, I'm doing it all. Not always. So, but again, I can talk all night. But thank you everyone for it. Has been wonderful, and I hope to see some of you on the podcast too. That'd be fantastic. So we can hear about you some more, and also get you out there and get your books out there, and yeah, I think that'd be wonderful.
Do you want to hold your sign up?
Oh.
I did put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all got it, but
Yeah.
Brad's information on
Yeah.
YouTube is
Alice.
What does that say? Oh, subscribe YouTube at Brad Hazlitt. That's under his name.
Yeah.
BradHazlip.
Yeah.
And then his website is Brad Hazlitt Books.
Yes.
Wixsite.com/author.
Yes. And
Put that information
and actually,
found out as well anyway.
and real quick too, if you do check out the website too, and I created that website myself too, and it didn't cost me a penny.
Good for you.
So if you can do things that don't cost you money, well, that's a win-win, right? I mean, yeah. So it's, and on that site too, and you notice on other websites too, you have to join us or purchase a certain like part of a website where you can purchase things. Well, on this one on Wix, it can be the same thing, but I have another company that's affiliated with Wix where you can still purchase books and doesn't cost nothing. So, but it's legit though. I mean, it's a, and I'll send that information to you as well, Julie, so you can pass this out. And if you need help in the future, please let me know. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You've really been a blessing to all of us. I know you all were really inspired and touched by his information and knowledge.
Well, thank you so much, and
Really thank you and applaud you for all you've gone out of your way to do.
well, thank you very much.
Research you did with copyright, I mean, that is a huge thing to do that when you're writing your book.
Yes,
So, take this information and
and actually too, Julie, if you go to my website, or I'm sorry, not the website, but if you go to YouTube channel, I have each month I put out a new topic. You know, for
teaching topic.
yes, and one of I think, and one of them is copyright law. So there's the websites are on there too that you can go to. So, and one of them is marketing, and like a basic like process of self-publishing. And I think the next one I'm going to be doing is a book cover, I think so. But we talked about a lot of that. So, but each month I do a new topic to add to that. So,
Well, you sure are a man who
well, thank you. Well, thank you.
truly thank you for giving of your time and your knowledge, and to think it's all on YouTube, you guys, at no cost.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just need to pray for this man that God
Oh.
will continue to bless him and use him in a mighty way.
Well, thank you so much.
Let's have a closing prayer, unless anyone has anything else to
Okay.
say. We just thank you, Brad, so much.
You're very welcome.
Father, I just thank you for this time, and thank you for Brad and the example that he is to all of us. I pray that you would just continue to bless all the work that he does and the work of his hands. I thank you for the women that were on this Zoom tonight, and that many will be blessed as we send out the YouTube link, and that they would check out his information. Just be with us now as we go into the evening. Put your angels around our homes, protect us, and help us to always do and say things to give you alone the honor and glory. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Well,
Amen.
yes,
Thank you, girls. It was so good to see you all. No men on the thing except you, Brad.
I know. I don't have my dress on right now, but you know.
God bless you all. Have a
Yeah.
really good one. We'll see you next month, Lord willing, and we'll see you at the Word Week
Yeah.
meeting. And Linnell, if you want to stay on, I'll talk to you for a minute. And Michelle,
Oh.
if you want to stay on.
Thank you.
So blessed.
Good night.
Everybody.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. You're welcome. Bye bye.